The HOPE Consortium represents a complete supply chain solution. It addresses vaccine transport, training, sourcing, demand planning and digital infrastructure, and vaccine availability across the world.
Etihad Cargo's role within the consortium as the national airline of the UAE and as the cargo partner within the consortium is key to the success of creating Abu Dhabi as a global logistics and transportation hub for the COVID-19 vaccine.
For the HOPE Consortium, we're building up a dedicated container fleet with a service center located in Abu Dhabi to make sure that this consortium has dedicated resources to bring vaccines from the world to the world.
Abu Dhabi Ports is ready to play a leading role in the end-to-end supply chain, including first-mile logistics, storing, processing and redistributing this extremely time and temperature-sensitive product.
Maqta Gateway is committed towards creating innovative digital solutions to boost the transparency and the integrity of the region's supply chain.
Here at RAFID, we are proud to actively participate in serving the humanity during worldwide COVID-19 pandemic.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Robert Sutton. I'm the logistics head for Abu Dhabi Ports and also responsible for the HOPE Consortium. We very much appreciate the opportunity to speak today, to share some of our experience with the HOPE Consortium and to perhaps create a better understanding and discussion around not only what we've done, which is important, but more importantly, what can we do together to really start to address some of the key issues which face us in overcoming this current pandemic. Maybe I should start with a quick overview of the HOPE Consortium. What is the HOPE Consortium? What's its mission? How does it approach that mission? These are questions which we've tackled many, many months ago in discussions with the Department of Health here in Abu Dhabi, with RAFID, one of our partners, with Etihad, our airline partner, and multiple others. And essentially, the discussion revolved around what's it going to take to make a difference. Considering that this is the largest single challenge any global supply chain has faced in an unprecedented coverage and in the urgency required in order to bring the world back to a sense of normality. We needed to make sure that we had a mission that was equipped and focused. And it's focused on two key aspects. One is to make sure we have a physical supply chain that is able to reach all the corners of the earth with the vaccines in the right temperature, at the right time, and in the right quantities. And secondly, to make sure that we have a digital solution and supply chain visibility, which allows all the parties to track that and to make sure we understand where the vaccines are, and perhaps more importantly, where they're not, because that is the part of the role that we really have to work harder on. So that was the mission. And our mission was very clear to us. So now we needed to communicate that mission. And we found the best way to communicate that mission was to work with partners. This whole HOPE Consortium success relies upon partnerships. It relies upon collaboration. So we chose our partners very carefully. The foundation partners gave us regulatory approvals. They gave us a regulatory framework. They gave us an airline and logistics capacity, which was the foundation. But on top of that, we needed to build execution partners that could move vaccines globally, whether they're coming from Europe, US, Asia, other parts of the world. Wherever they're coming from, they needed to get to the people most in need. So we needed our global partners for that. We'll talk about partnership a lot, but just moving vaccines, we realized very, very early on was not enough. We needed to make sure that as well as delivering vaccines to a country, we could ensure that the country was supported with the in-country vaccination programs. So we extended the partnership. We took that one step further and made sure we had a final mile solution for every country. And that final mile solution included healthcare professionals, doctors and nurses and field hospitals, equipment, PPE, ambulances, whatever was required by the country or state or region to support that vaccination program was a critical part of what the HOPE Consortium delivered, which is far more than a transportation solution. So that's kind of a quick overview and some background into the HOPE Consortium. Now, let's take a few steps forward. We've positioned the HOPE Consortium to do a number of things. We've positioned it to act as that facilitator of vaccine movements. Need to be very clear on this. We don't buy, we don't sell, and we don't trade vaccines. Our single purpose in life is to make sure we're equipped to move vaccines from the point of availability to the point of demand, wherever that may be globally. Why Abu Dhabi? Why is Abu Dhabi best positioned to be able to support this? So the HOPE Consortium is domiciled here in the United Arab Emirates, in KIZAD in Abu Dhabi, because we have a facility which allows us to store over 120 million vaccines, whether it's -80, -20, 2 to 8, temperature controlled. We have a GDP and Department of Health, Ministry of Health compliant facility, which allows us to bring the bulk to Abu Dhabi, where it sits within 5 to 6 hours reach of 3.6 billion people. You know, most of Africa, parts of Asia, around the Middle East, we can reach all of these areas very quickly here from Abu Dhabi. So that's why we play such an important role, and we're very proud to play that role in the physical and the digital supply chain solution to move vaccines globally. Of course, we've talked about partnerships, and having a facility with 120 million capacity is one thing. Having a regulatory body which is supporting and an airline that is able to provide the assets is another thing. But unless you can bring all of these things together, then by themselves, they don't provide a solution, and they don't provide the hope that the consortium was designed to deliver. So we work very closely with all of our partners, whether it's a DHL freight partner, UPS, a FedEx, an Agility, Aramex, you name any of the top global 15 freight forwarders and logistics companies, and we're working in partnership with them. We're working in partnership to make sure that no corner of the world is untouched, is unreachable, is available to the HOPE Consortium so we can support them. So what that meant was we worked with all of these partners, which on day one were competitors. On day two, we needed to ask them to collaborate. And we really appreciated their willingness to step up and collaborate at that level. It was really fantastic to see that. And we continue to see that day in, day out by working with partners. Now, the partnerships go way beyond logistics partners. They go into the healthcare sector with Via Medica, providing the in-country support. So as well as partnering with the giants of logistics, if you will, to coin a phrase, we also made sure we understood that the key partnerships that we need, and this is particularly relevant to Africa and perhaps some other parts of the world, because the specialists may not be a globally recognized brand. The specialists may not be the people that can move aircraft and vaccines all around the Western Hemisphere. The specialists are quite often found in the communities, in the countries. So our partnership reach extends way into the country. It extends into the government. It extends into the private sector. It extends into the entrepreneurs that truly understand the challenges of final mile distribution, of temperature controlled maintenance, of the security and logistics required to move product to remote communities. So we're not content with just labeling ourselves and sidelining ourselves with multiple major brands. We recognize and appreciate and welcome the value that these partnerships bring when we reach into the community. This is truly a global effort, and without those partnerships, I am pretty sure we will not have the same level of success and market penetration that we aspire to have. So, don't think about the Hope Consortium. I would encourage you not to think about the Hope Consortium as a multi-conglomerate enterprise with major brands. It only works when everybody works together, and everybody includes government entities, private entities, major organizations, small businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, localized businesses, and communities. So it takes a global effort and a collective approach in order to make this successful. Of course, the partnerships, you'll hear a lot of that word very frequently because it's key, but the partnerships go way beyond even the execution parties. We couldn't do what we do without people like UNICEF, where we partner with UNICEF to support their mission. Their mission and our mission have some very, very clear similarities. We partnership with UNICEF, for example, on the redistribution of cold chain equipment all over Africa. And we do that by working with them to understand the need, and then making sure that we create proposals and solutions which take into account the challenges and the difficulties that we'll face in certain terrain, and be able to execute that at the earliest possible moment with the most optimal solutions. So they're the areas. If we thought about this Hope Consortium solution for a moment, we would realize very quickly there are 4 key pillars to the Hope Consortium. One is the supply side. So we need to partner with suppliers, whether that's a vaccine manufacturer, a distributor, or just somebody that's handling vaccines. We need to partner with those. That's the supply side. We then have the NGOs, the UNICEFs, the Red Crescents, and the aid organizations. We need to support those. We need to work with both the logistics and the execution parties to make sure we can move the product globally and into the communities. And then lastly, we need to work with healthcare providers, because vaccines themselves, we know, are important, but they don't save lives. What saves lives are vaccination programs. So we need to support not only the movement of the vaccines and the other equipment that goes with that, but the vaccination programs. And that's a key part of our delivery. Of course, like every opportunity, it comes with its challenges. The challenges that we've experienced so far have varied by geography, and they'll continue to vary. So for that very reason, we don't come to any of our partners, any of the countries that require support, and give them a standard solution. We listen, we learn, we understand some of the challenges are unique to that country or region or state, and then we work with the stakeholders to make sure there are solutions or mitigants to some of those challenges, if not all of those challenges. And we do that again by reaching out to the very sound in-country expertise that exists globally to make sure we leverage that. I'll give you an example of how that works. If we take a state anywhere in the world, in Africa, for the sake of putting a pin in the map, if there's a need for 10 million vaccines, our role is simply not to swamp that country with 10 million vaccines. If they only have the capacity to manage 1 million vaccines, we position 10 million in Abu Dhabi in the hub, where they're monitored 24/7 in a compliant facility closer to the point of demand. We move 1 million to the country, assuming that we've all agreed that it can handle 1 million vaccines in full compliance. And then we put in a system called Munity, which was created for the Hope Consortium by MACTA Gateway, which monitors the offtake of those vaccines. So let's say this same country can then do 100,000 vaccines per day. So that tells us that there's now 10 days inventory in that country. As that vaccination program becomes effective, we monitor from Abu Dhabi the vaccination rates. And at some point, we trigger a replenishment into the country. So what this means is that you have fresh inventory. You've mitigated the risk of spoilage by making sure you've selected the Hope Consortium as a partner to manage that risk. There's transparency. We can speed up a supply chain. We can slow down a supply chain. If your vaccination program runs slower than expected, we will slow the replenishment down. If it runs faster, we will speed this replenishment up. And that's what partnership is about. It's about this level of transparency and visibility that we build in through MACTA Gateway and the Munity system, which is available to all of our partners to make sure we can manage those supply chains. You keep the bulk of your inventory within your custody, but in one of our facilities in a regulated environment to make sure it's fully compliant and it's available to you and only to you. So it's very important that we have that neutrality which supports this release of vaccines based on the consumption speed. So we've had some challenges, but I think we've achieved some good milestones. To date, we've moved over 200 million vaccines to over 40 countries globally. And when I say we, that means the Hope Consortium, its partners, both logistics partners, vaccine partners, NGOs, the in-country support partners, and the governments that we work with. So we have done a reasonable job. Are we there yet? Absolutely not. We still have some way to go. So it's been made possible, the 200 million plus has been made possible through collaboration. It's been made possible by partnerships. It's been made possible by a willingness to work together, to put aside egos, to put aside competition, to put aside those things which we thought were important in putting the mission first, the mission to vaccinate. So in conclusion, the Hope Consortium is here to be a partner on this journey and beyond. It's geared to manage COVID. It's geared to manage the need for COVID vaccines globally. It's geared to manage and understand the unique challenges, geographical challenges that come up. We don't buy, we don't trade, we don't sell vaccines. Our single purpose in life is that we're here to ensure that when the vaccines are available, you have a partner you can turn to that you can rely upon with the reach, the scale, and the capacity to be able to deliver these vaccines to the communities, to the arms of the patients, using both the logistics expertise, the digital solutions in place, and the in-country healthcare solutions via Medica, our partners. So by approaching it in this manner, we know that we have all the solutions we can work with you on, and we're here for the African nations, and we're here to help you and join with you in this fight against this global pandemic. It's been my pleasure to talk to you today.